My name is Brandy Pettyjohn, and I'm a photographer. I can't really name the exact age that I became interested in photography, but I know I was young. I was on vacation with my father, and I was taking pictures with his camera. He wanted to take a picture of me for some reason. I was in the ocean, and there was this ship, out to sea, and I wanted to take a picture of it. And he was like, "Oh, let me take a picture of you behind the ship." And there's a photo of me with my hand out the water like this, because I didn't want to get this hand wet so I can continue to take pictures. So that's my earliest recollection of my interest in photography. My desire to be a photographer never matched the actual resources of camera equipment and film and everything. I would express this desire to be a photographer, and then I would get like tons of 110 cameras and disposable cameras, plastic cameras, just everything that people didn't want. They were like, "Oh, I got this camera," and I'm like, "This is not what the photographers use." People used to let me borrow the cameras that they had, like their parents, gave them a SLR camera and they don't give a crap, so they would let me use it. And so that's how I kind of got to using SLR cameras to do photography work, and I did that in high school, and we had a darkroom in high school, so that's how I learned to develop my own film and make prints and things of that nature. I'm so not formally trained, but being out in the street and doing photography in different situations, doing street stuff, being able to capture something as it comes to you, I feel makes me a better photographer, because I don't have to rely on somebody hitting their perfect, smile that I've envisioned. They are able to come to that moment themselves. I kind of fell into documentary photography mostly because I can kind of stay in the background and still shoot. Because I didn't have to talk to anybody, I didn't have to engage anybody, I can just take the scene as I saw it and shoot. And so that's kind of how I started. Then once I learned what that was, by studying and learning, okay, when I look at pictures of Angela Davis and things of the 60s power movements and things of that nature, I'm like, okay, this is all documentary photography. So I feel good about following that trajectory. In my opinion, our generation, the hip hop generation, what we have of the Black Power movement, aside from the benefits, is the photography and the documentary stuff. Our idolization comes from having a big ass poster of Malcolm X on our wall, or Huey Newton sitting in that wicker chair. There's this lineage of not only black people doing positive things, doing powerful things, but that somebody captured it. And I want to be that person that's capturing black people doing dope shit too. I always feel like I'm a conduit, or like just some kind of entity in between the people who are in the concert and the performer, because I feel like I can feel that wave of energy going back and forth. My first published magazine shoot was for Elemental Magazine, and it was of DJ Toomp. And between DJ Toomp and the celebrity work that I was doing in Atlanta, a friend of mine who lived in Los Angeles was like, "We need photographers here." So I was like, well, I'm not really doing anything here, and if I can get more work in LA, I have family there, so I'm gonna go. The first gig that I had was Waist Deep premiere, and they were like, the people at the agency was like, "We need to talk about that shoot. You did this wrong and that wrong." And I was like, The first published thing that I did as a journalist was Snoop had this thing 4th of July weekend in LA. I was out there, I shot Snoop. He had a ball. That picture that I took of him ended up in the New York Daily News. And then Jessica Alba, which that year was like the girl of summer. And she happened to be at the event that year. And so I got the only shots of Jessica Alba at this event. And it was in People, it was in it was in InStyle, because she had some kind of hat on, and it was in all these magazines. And because I was the only journalist there, syndicated journalist there, I was the only one with those pictures. So I went to this anti-war rally and I ran into somebody who I did this study abroad assignment with in Mexico and Guatemala. And while we were on that trip, we focused on, just a lot of, globalization issues and things like that. So when I meet up with this dude at this anti-war rally, he's like, yeah, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm shooting red carpet celebrity work. In my mind, I was like, shit, I'm a part of the problem. I'm a part of the distraction. It's a distraction from what's really going on, and I just felt some kind of way about it. I left LA to kind of focus on becoming a better photographer, but also kind of to hone in on some of the real things that I wanted to do as a photographer. In my mind, you have to, if you want to be called an artist and a photographer, you need to shoot in different situations. You need to shoot often, and you need to read, and you need to study who else has shot before you, because other than that, you're just a person with a camera.